Hey guys, my name is Stephanie Richardson and I am fired up tonight. I am so very excited to have you guys on our call. This is going to be a very exciting call. So I wanted to let you know if your coaches were, kind of give you a heads up real quick. If your coaches were, okay, I muted all you. So if your coaches were in the sneak peek or the inside scoop group, JC, you look so pretty. If your coaches were in the sneak peek inside scoop group, and they signed up, if they've signed up already and they've decided to be a coach, we are starting a little thread that is for, we're calling it the Pledge Class 218. And it's for the new coaches that have just signed up, okay, for in February. They can sign up, February 1st or whatever, but it's our Pledge Class 218 starting February. In this group, we hope to have just a really fun, bond of these new coaches. They feel like they can ask each other questions, and just kind of have just this really fun bond of new coaches. The coaches, it'll be a 30-day thread, and then they can graduate if they help 1 to 3 people. If they attend 2 training calls, either the National Wake Up Call or team calls, and then if they finish the new coach training from their upline. Okay, so that is something that is new. We're excited about. We just had a call. It brought tears to my eyes to meet these new coaches, and it's going to be so amazing to learn from these new coaches. Okay, so very, very excited about it. So if you have a new coach, make sure that you are they are put in this thread. And y'all, if you have a coach, add yourself as well so that y'all can help answer the questions. Okay. So I'm excited. It was fun. It was it was this new group, and, they were just so sweet and their stories were amazing, and it just was so powerful. So, anyway, so I'm going to, close this tab because that's a lot of dinging. Okay. So I just want to, say, hey, that was first off my brain. And so I wanted to share that with you guys right now. So, all right, we're going to get right in it. Okay. Couple things. You have until tomorrow to sign up for Team Cup. Hopefully you guys have signed up for Team Cup, y'all. There is some really, really amazing prizes, and you will want to be in a Team Cup group, because when you get to Summit, you're going to be like, oh man, why wasn't I? Because some of the fun incentives and parties and things like that are going to be attached to that. Also, if you have a Summit ticket, you can be in Carl's group. Is it 5, 3, 2, 1? I don't know. It's 5, 3, 1, 3 numbers. And so you can be in Carl's group. That's going to be really exciting. Brendan Burchard is going to go in and go live. I mean, it's going to be some really powerful training and learning from the coaches. So that's going to be really, really good. So, so that's coming up. Team Cup, get your Summit ticket. And we are also starting to plan some fun team activities for Summit. So it's going to be really, really good. So welcome to tonight. All right. So I'm going to put myself in speaker view. So hi. Okay. So let's get started tonight. So I had a harder year last year. Let's just be real. And so I really felt like kind of when I came out of a fog, I felt like I just need to be coachable. I need to learn. I need to get better. If I'm going to be a 15-star coach, I'm going to have to get better. I'm going to have to, the coach is going to have to be coached. Right. And so I decided to, and so in August, I hired a coach that helped me, and then and kind of get me through some stuff and kind of help me with my business and kind of ideas and where we were moving. And then in the end of December, I hired a coach named Cody Jefferson. I put his information in the team page. He does some I hired him. He charges, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, he charges $6,000 for 3 months. And so I just decided that that was an investment that I wanted to make in me. I wanted to, because I want to be a better coach. I want to help you guys be better coaches. I want to help you make more money. And so I needed to invest in that. So I was told a long time ago that you should spend 10% of your income in personal development and gifts. So recognition for your team, and then also training for yourself. So like personal development. And so that was an investment. So that was something I was told a long time ago that is important. If you're going to get better, you have to invest in yourself. You have to, that's why we go to Summit, because that's investing in ourselves. That's why we read personal development. That's investing in ourselves. And so I decided that I was going to hire Cody to help me be a better coach. So I wanted to kind of share with you some of the things that we've been talking about, and so that I can, because a good coach, what do? They learn and then they teach, right? And so I am going to teach you guys some things that I have been learning from Cody, and just that have kind of helped kind of shift some things. And I don't know if you guys watch me on social media. I tell most of you to not watch coaches because I want you to be you. But I have, if you haven't noticed, I have switched a couple things in my social media because basically Cody told me the things that I was doing was wrong. So because social media has changed, guys. It has changed so much. In fact, I went through last night, or a couple days ago, I went through the Coach Basics. And in the Coach Basics, the social media training is totally obsolete, right? A lot of the training that we have, because social media changes like crazy. It changes so quickly. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to share, I don't want to overwhelm you guys, but tomorrow I'm going to share some new training. I don't think anyone shared it today, but I'm going to share with you some new Insta Story training because that is, a really important training right now for all of us. And I'm going to share one that Kim Carver did with Jatana Jackson, and I'm going to share that in the group page tomorrow, but not to overwhelm you. So so social media is changing. So things that worked for me before and things that were getting engagement for me before are no longer working. Does anyone else feel that? Okay, so I'm not alone in that. So I was like, well, this is what I've always done and it worked, and now it's not working anymore, right? So I was like, I've got to change. I can't be doing the same thing. That's like, and I'm not getting the same results. So I have to make a change. In fact, today, Cody said, Stephanie, you have to stop posting your stock photos of your Bible verses. And I was like, but I like that. And I've been doing that for like 8 years. And he's like, no one's reading it. I mean, some people are, but he's like, the engagement, it's not getting an engagement. It's not getting anything. He goes, people are swiping. They're swiping right through it. It's not anything that is helping move humanity forward. That's a word he says. So anyway, so I'm having to let go of some things that I've done always. I'm having to learn. I'm having to get uncomfortable. Okay. So that is some things that we are doing right now. So first off, I want to say so the reason that I kind of hired Cody is because I was, my husband's like, maybe you're just not doing this social media thing right? He's like, maybe you need to hire someone that has marketing background, that has like some strategy and kind of can help you. And so I was like, okay. And so he goes, because maybe this was so bright of my husband. He said, maybe what you're communicating maybe what you're trying to communicate isn't coming across. Does that make sense? So I'm trying to communicate something, but it's not, people aren't getting what I'm they're not picking up what I'm putting down. You know what I'm saying? So they're like not getting it. And so I'm not having the same success that I was having before. And I was getting frustrated, and things that, posts that worked before weren't working, right? I mean, if I post something about my workout, I mean, no one likes it, right? So it was just like, that's weird, you know, like that used to get a lot of likes and, you know, engagement and stuff like that. So he has kind of gone through and kind of helped me. So one of the things that he talked about was, you know, okay, so I'm going to go through a lot of things. First and foremost, if your accounts are not public, you need to have your accounts public. No one can find you on social media if your accounts are private. Okay? And it was amazing when I went through some of my coaches who were like, oh my gosh, I'm having a hard time. And so Cody and I could have said, I would point out a couple coaches. I was like, hey, this coach is having a hard time. He goes, Stephanie, their account is not even it's private. How is anyone going to find them? How is anyone going to help them? How are they going to help anyone if no one can find them? So that's one thing. So anyway, I'm going to be a little bouncy. So I'm sorry because I'm going to be a little bouncy in this time, but hopefully you'll understand. And I'm going to give you some good tips at the end and stuff, homework for you to do. Promise. So anyway, so my first call with Cody, and, you know, I think I'm pretty good on social media. Like, I think I'm pretty good, and I think I'm good at Facebook, and, you know, that's kind of my jam, and, you know, I'm like good at that, right? So, but I'm not getting the same traction. So anyway, I had my first conversation with him, and he goes, so I can tell that you're a mom and you post Bible verses and your kids are into sports. And that's it. And I was like, okay. And so he's like, so that's basically it that I know about you. And he said, and I just said, well, he goes, so tell me a little bit about your business. And I was like, well, you know, 7-time elite coach. I earn $1 million a year. He's like, I have 20,000 people in my downline. And he's like, are you serious? And I go, yeah. And he goes, you don't even show up as an authority in Beachbody. Like, I don't even know that you are a Beachbody coach, which is okay. But he's like, I don't even know what you do. I just think you're a mom that has athletic boys and you post Bible verses. Okay. And he's like, and I've looked at all your platforms, and I'm not saying that you are putting forth who you are, that you have a strong business, that you are an entrepreneur, that you are, you know, into, you know, helping people. Like, I don't see any of that. Right. And so I was like, oh. So the first thing we did was we changed my pictures to kind of be clearer. Like, so my profile picture, we kind of changed that. We changed my cover photo to be more inviting. It's just very, like, it was my family, but we changed it to be just me, and it's a clear picture. It looks nice. And then we changed my profile picture to be, you know, just me. And I was like, but I want my people to know that I'm married, you know. So those are the pictures, you know, in your Facebook page. You can have pictures that are, you know, that you pick. You know, people can see that I'm married and have a husband, and, you know, all those things. Because I don't share things about my husband on social media. That's a rule that we have. He said. So I just want to make sure people know that that's, you know, he's a priority in my life and all that. So anyway. So we kind of changed up some things. What does my look want to be? How do I want to show up on social media? Okay. So that's kind of what we did. So basically, so that's kind of what I did. Then the next thing he said is that I need to start sharing my life. Okay. And I need to share who I am, that I'm authority. And a lot of you are like, well, I'm not where you are. Just, you've signed up to be a Beachbody coach, so you're an authority. Like, you're an authority in way more than someone who hasn't. So you know more than the person you're talking to, right? So you are an authority. You are a Beachbody coach. So he said that I need to share my life, and I need to, you know, share who I am. And I need to kind of like tell the world who I am. So here I need to figure out who my ideal coach is. I need to figure out what her pain points are. And I need to figure out what her deep fears are. And what I need to do is I need to bring up that pain point and then show them what is possible. I need to take them deep, but not too deep, right? And then I need to take them into paradise. So I need to show them what can happen. So for example, I shared that I was a failure as a mom when my kids were preschool the other day. I don't know if you guys saw my video, but I shared about how Will was horrible when he was little. And I literally had to hold the door shut to keep him in his room to take a nap. And he was awful. And I asked every single person, you know, help. I didn't know what to do. People thought I was crazy. I couldn't take him places. It was bad. And so I finally found someone. I asked questions, and so I shared this story that was like a painful, like as a mom, when your kids act out and you're like embarrassed, you know, and you've tried everything and nothing is working with discipline, that's like a pain point, right? So I kind of brought them into where I am. And then I shared how I was able to help him, you know, and how he changed and how his life is, how he's so much better now, right? So I kind of showed that how, you know, that's kind of what I'm saying. Does that make sense? So it doesn't necessarily have to be about, you know, Beachbody or whatever. And I'm going to go get to that in a little bit. So we have to pull people and we have to show them where they are and where they want to be in our posts. And we have to know, what am I sharing each day? And you have to just share your life every day without wanting to have anything in return. And that's it. This is like a totally different thing for me, you guys, and maybe for you too, right? I'm like, in my post, I'm like, look at my shake. It's so great. And it feels so much better with drinking my shake. You should buy it, right? That will get people like, no, thank you, right? So maybe it's my shake, you know, like my shake's not in the picture or whatever. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. So we want to, we want to share our story on Facebook. We want to move humanity forward. And that is the only call to action that we're asking, to move humanity forward. Because if we're giving and giving and giving, like he made this, Cody talked to me today and he goes, how many times have you heard Gary Vaynerchuk, like, does anyone know who that is? Vaynerchuk, is that, I don't know how to say his last name, but Gary V. So if you follow Gary V, how many of you have heard him say, like, you should buy my book, or you should, like, he hardly ever says something like that, right? If ever. But he's constantly giving, right? And so you want to love people over conversion. And you want to brand yourself into a leader who can create a following. Because social media is brand focus. People aren't going to buy Shakeology from you because you say, like, you should buy Shakeology. They're buying Shakeology because they believe in you and trust you. They don't know about Shakeology. They don't know about 80-Day Obsession. But what's happened is they trust you enough to buy it. They trust you enough to do something, to move forward with their goals because they put their trust in you. So the important thing is to show up consistently, to start creating your brand, and so that you can find the right type of people. So, okay, so your personal page. So this is like, so this is about selling and not selling, but just sharing your story and sharing who you are. So it's more important for you to post 1 to 2 times a day with engaging, meaningful posts to draw people in. That is your goal. Because everything you post is actually selling something. You're selling yourself, right? You're selling an idea. You're selling, you know, who you are. So you need to be thinking about, every post I do is selling something. So who are you talking to? How are you successful? And you need to be very, very specific in your avatar. How many people know what an avatar is? Some of you know what an avatar is. So an avatar is the person that you're trying to reach. And he or she, you have to be really, really specific. Like, what does she like? What does she wear? Where does she shop? Like, how does she, what are her fears? What are the things she likes? And you need to really sit down and do this. So I did this with a coach the other day, and so we were talking about her avatar, and she said, well, so at first I asked her her story. I asked her who she was before she became a coach. And she said, I was working 3 jobs. I was a teacher. I was a coach. And I was a teacher, a coach. I worked at Walmart. And I was, and I said, well, what made you become a Beachbody coach? And she said, well, my coach at the time came to the baseball baseball game and said, I made $1,400 this week with Beachbody. And I was like, what? And she said, and so the coach sat her down and shared with her about Beachbody and what she did. And she had already been meeting with someone, Advocare. She had almost signed up with Advocare, but she decided not to. And she decided to go with Beachbody because it's more of a fit for her. And she said, and I just worked, what's, da, da, da. So I was like, okay, so who's your avatar? And she said, well, my avatar, I hope I can share this. I didn't really ask permission, but I don't think she'll care. So I said, who's your avatar? And she said, well, so she said at the time, she goes, I had struggled with my eating disorders in the past. And she said, and I also had struggled with depression in the past. So I said, well, who's your avatar? And she goes, well, it's someone who struggles with depression, struggles with an eating disorder, is talking all these things. And I said, no, it's not that person. That's not the person you're talking to. That's the person before Beachbody. You're talking to the girl you were when you decided to sign up, right? What were you were a hard worker. You had 3 jobs. You had struggled with eating problems, but you had already started to get healthy, right? You were on the other side of that. You were looking for something else. You were looking to make ends meet. Does that make sense? So it was a different person than who she was before Beachbody, right? It was someone that she was looking for that was really, really specific. So we got really specific of what that girl is and what she's like and what does her family look like and that sort of thing, so that she can talk to that girl, because that's the girl that she's looking for. It's the girl or guy who you were when you decided to become a coach. What made you? What were your fears? What was your pain points? Why did you say, okay, yes, I want to try this? Like, where were you at that time? And that's who you want to talk to. So we want to be, that's how we cultivate the right people to join you, right? We talked about the low-hanging, we've talked about finding the right people. Because if you're not finding the right people, if you're not finding your tribe, you're going to feel like you are walking up a hill carrying a bag of rocks, right? Because it's going to be a struggle, because they're not like-minded. They're not like you. They don't believe the same things you do, right? They don't have the same work ethic, or whatever it is, whatever you're looking for, it's going to feel, you're going to cultivate the wrong people to join your team, and it's not going to be very fun, right? So, so for me, I talk about, like, for example, like the kind of girl that I'm looking for. And then I use their inside language. So for instance, I can talk about how I'm social. Like, I was in a sorority and I was social and I liked people and I, never met a stranger. Well, then I was a stay-at-home mom, and I loved being a stay-at-home mom, but I went to college to study business, and I wasn't using that. And I missed that. And I wanted to find something, I wanted to still be a stay-at-home mom, but I wanted to find something outside of that. And so I found that Beachbody was something for me, right? So telling stories, giving advice, and then you're sharing your lifestyle, like your day-to-day on Insta stories, okay? So I'm talking about Instagram posts and I'm talking about Facebook posts right now, okay? But you want to use all of them because you want to mix up the way that you show up. So when a Beachbody coach posts something about a workout, at this point, it screams sales. It's something that worked for us before, but it's not working for us anymore, okay? So we are not capitalizing on the fitness side. Now, it's effective when Autumn posts a workout picture, right? Because unless you're Autumn, you know, that's because she had a following before Beachbody. If you are a fitness instructor and were a fitness instructor before Beachbody and you post a workout picture, then that's totally normal, right? But you just have to practice the art of saying nothing. Practice the art of saying nothing. So letting your words speak for you, not being so like, you should buy this, right? That's the art of saying nothing. So we are going to start commanding a new audience with quality content plus consistency. And when we have quality content and consistency, then people will trust and value what you have to say. Okay? So that is kind of where we're trying to figure out who are the people that we are trying to reach. And you can still ask questions on Facebook, but Facebook is shutting people down when they do calls to actions. Like, buy this now, blah, blah, blah. They're shutting people down. So you have to be very, very careful in the way that you do that. Okay. So I'm kind of going through a lot of this stuff. Let's sort of pain points. Okay. So a couple of things that I think are a couple of tips. We talked about making sure your account is public. We want to talk about a couple of different things. If you want some kind of, if you're like, okay, I don't have like fancy, you know, photographs or whatever, there is a site that you can use that you can do like, trying to find that. Where is that? Okay, I'll find. Okay, so there's one thing. Okay, so hashtags. You should probably. I've heard that hashtags in the actual content is better now than in the comment section. I'm hearing. So you can utilize hashtags, and I think that you probably want about 15 hashtags for any given post. And you can find those hashtags by going to displaypurposes.com. And then you can put words in there, and then it'll show you some hashtags, and that kind of helps it make it a little bit easier. And then it does the ... for you, so it adds that space. So it's called displaypurposes.com. And then another little fun help thing is, where is that? Where is that? There, I have another, I'll have to post it later. I cannot find it. I have another site where you can find stock photos that you can kind of find that are your brand and kind of what you want it, that all kind of look similar. And I'll share that with you guys. And I guess I didn't write that down. So that is something that you need to do. So, okay, we talked about times that you post. So if you're going to post 2 times a day, you need to make sure you're posting at the right time. So maybe you think about who you were and when you were on social media. If you were on social media before a coach, so were you in the car line when you were on your phone? Was it early in the morning? Was it at night? Like, when were the times that you were on your phone? And that's when you need to post. Okay. So here's the deal. So what I'm going to start doing, you're going to start seeing me do, and you've probably seen me do, I'm going to start doing live videos. Most days, I'm like Monday through Friday, I'll probably do live videos. And then I'm probably going to do a post, like a deeper post, once a day as well. And so let me show you how we kind of came up with what we're going to do. So we came up with 5 of my pillars, 5 pillars that kind of they're kind of me, and kind of you know, that sort of thing. So my 5 pillars that you wanted me to concentrate on, my 5 pillars, and hopefully your pillars are different, maybe some are similar, but my 5 pillars were business, fitness, family, personal, and faith. Okay, so I had 5 pillars. And so then what I did is I wrote these 5 pillars down right here on my notebook. I wrote them down because I write letter, like, can't really see. Okay, so I wrote down this pillar. I wrote 1 pillar down, so here's my business pillar. And then I wrote the pain point or fear that I have felt or that my avatar feels in business, and then a story with that. So a story that I've experienced that basically answered my pain point, okay? So I did it in all different ways. So like in family, that's when I did. I talked about my terrible toddler, so that was the pain point or the fear, and then the story was the story about Will and about how I asked for help and I read and I learned and that sort of thing, okay? So your homework tonight is to figure out what your 5 pillars are, the things that you are unique to you, your 5 things that are really important to you. And then for you to write one on each page, and then write 20 fears or pain points, and then match 20 stories to them. Here's the cool thing. If you do this, guys, if you sit down, and I sat down and I did it, it took me like an hour and a half to do it. Maybe even not that long. I don't even know, maybe 30 minutes. I just was like thinking of things. But here's the deal. I wrote all this stuff down. If I post twice a day, then I have 10 weeks worth of content. Like done. Like I don't have to think, what am I going to post? What am I going to say? You know, whatever. And so what I'll do is like, so my next step now is to decide which ones I'm going to post each day and then map it out. And so so tomorrow I will have, tomorrow I'm going to have my post. It's going to be about, each day I'm going to have like different things on the post. So I haven't finished this homework yet, so you guys will finish it at the same time. So I did that part. So then tomorrow is Wednesday. So I'm going to talk about family on Wednesday. Okay. So I'm going to do a post, like a picture post of family, and then I'm going to do a live video. And I'm going to pick 2 of these, and I'm going to do that. Okay. So I have my content. Y'all, I'm like, this was like, I'm sure people have told me to do this before, but I'm like, like I have my content written out for like 10 weeks. Isn't that huge? Like if y'all had your content written out for 10 weeks, isn't that like beautiful, right? It's done. Like it took me like 30 minutes, okay? And it's not like, oh, I gotta find a recipe, oh, I've gotta blah, blah, blah. Like I had to find a pain or fear that I had before talking to me, before I started coaching, and then a story that I have, that have helped me get out of that. Okay. So that's kind of what it's going to look like for me. And as you start to post, like posts will become easier because these are experiences that you've had, and you need to dig deeper into these stories. And when you do that, it's amazing to see like the people that message me, and are like, wow, that was really, really inspiring. Thank you for sharing that. I've felt that way before, right? And so what is that doing? That's helping them know, like, and trust me so that when I do say, hey, I have a challenge group, hey, I have whatever, they're ready to join me, right? Or maybe they private message me and said, I heard you talk about fitness. I know you do something with fitness. Like, I would love for you to help me, So now it's going to take a while to build this. It's going to take some time, but this is kind of, what our plan is to do. Now, if you're not good at live videos, write down an outline of what you're going to say. Try to keep it under 15 minutes. I think even under 5 minutes, but try to keep it, not super long. You can move around, make it kind of interesting, move it around a little bit so it's not boring. But the cool thing about live videos, you can kind of watch yourself and kind of get better. You're probably not going to get great engagement on the weekends. So that's good to know. Sharing is caring. Let's see. Yeah, so we're going to just be working hard to figure out who we're talking to, and be very clear on who that person is that you're talking to. So anyway, so let's see here. Wishing I would have kept a life journal. Well, you know what, Kristen, the cool thing is that as you start writing these out, you're like, oh my gosh, I have this story. And you'll start to think of stories once you hear pain points, and you're like, oh yeah, I totally know. So for each story, each pillar has 20 stories. So there are 5 pillars and then 20 stories. Okay. Y'all, this is not super easy. You're going to get better. You're going to be, you're going to share, you're going to kind of fail forward a little bit. But when you hit that sweet spot is when you're going to start hearing people come and message you and go, hey, I dealt with that too. Thank you for sharing that. Right? People are going to order from you because they like you, not because of Beachbody products, right? You are your brand. People are buying from you, not buying from Beachbody. Otherwise, they go to beachbody.com. Okay? They're buying from you because they know, like, and trust you. So that is something that is important. The reason that we do those pain points is that we are, the word is called allaying, ALLAYING, fears, and we're confirming suspicions. Right? So we're bringing up what their fears are, like, for example, like I'm going to post about like, oh my gosh, everyone approached me before I started Beachbody about selling something because of my personality, and I would avoid people. Like I would be in the hallway at church and I'd see that person coming and I'd turn around because I didn't want them to, ask me to host a home party. And so I was so worried. I had to find a way to not let people, avoid me. And so I've been able to help people online, and so people don't have to avoid me. They can unfollow me, I guess, if they want. But, I try to do my business in a way that, so you're kind of saying, oh yeah, I know, I don't want to be that annoying person, and so you're allaying those fears and you're confirming suspicions, right? So I want you to tell stories, give advice, know who you're talking to. Okay, so those are the couple things. Did anyone else have a question that you have for me? Any kind of questions that you have? So this is all new to me, guys, but I want to tell you that I'm trying to help you guys as I'm learning, and so that's why it's so, if I'm learning it, I'm helping you. And a lot of like people I'm talking to, we're having these conversations. People, this is what we have to do. We have to really like share who we are, and I'm hoping that is helpful. How do we get people to watch the Insta stories beside our Insta friends? I'm not sure. Make sure you are public. Your account is public. That's for sure one of the reasons. And I will post the Insta stories training. I have not watched it yet, but I will post it tomorrow, and I'm sure she shares. I know, like, if you hashtag things or share your location, people are searching and that sort of thing. Let's see here. Sorry, I have one other. I was trying to find this other website that had the pictures. Oh, here we are. Unsplashed.com is a website where you can get royalty-free photos. You have to still pay for the photos, but they're stock photos that you can use. So if you don't have a professional photographer, but you want to talk about, for instance, I talked about winning medals or something. I don't know what I talked about, something about medals. And he goes, oh, that would have been really cool for you to show a picture of medals, like that looked like, you know. And so anyway, that was didn't look like a stock photo, but had your vibe and that sort of thing. So if you don't have really great photos, I would definitely go check that out and try to find, like, kind of have them all kind of look the same. So when you're posting them, they're all kind of congruent and kind of look like, oh yeah, that's a Stephanie picture, you know. So our goal is to move humanity forward. That is our only call to action. We need to love people over conversion. We need to share our story. We need to do that consistently. So those are some of the things. Anything else that you guys have questions on before I go? Sorry, we were a little long. I just had a lot to share. And I'll continue to share more with you guys, you know, as I learn, you know, and as I tweak and learn myself, how to do better. Anyone else? All right. Thank you guys for being on the call. I hope it was helpful. I hope you got some tips to take home. And I would love to see you guys, you know, finish this. Like, y'all, if you could have like all your posts done for, 10 weeks, wouldn't that be amazing? Right? It would be so cool. So get it done. Bye, guys.